she did it. But I think it was a big risk for her to take. So, yeah, maybe next year. She's going to be farther along in the pregnancy, too. So, it's, maybe she won't be in a major battle. At least not right away. We'll have to wait and see, I guess.
Yeah.
Because she's going to be farther along. So, I don't know. I think it's, they're looking to her for leadership. Yeah, she's a strong character. But is it wise for her to do that, take that stance?
Yeah,
So,
I feel she's one of the strongest, or even stronger than most of the men. Like I've talked to before. Because she's led she's been a leader. She's intelligent, and she knows. She even told the young kid the week before last, we plan on being here for 40 years. So they're not going to migrate. So they want to establish there, and she understands that taking on Negan and getting rid of him is the only way to survive there in the area that they're at. So we had a wild weekend, you guys, with The Walking Dead. Me and Denise had just talked about it. Rick, how are you feeling with your withdrawal?
Yeah, I just told Denise a minute ago before we started that I started reading the comic again from issue 1.
Yeah, he's got something to do.
Yeah,
darn it!
But if you guys don't read the comic, you might want to give the novels a try. There have been about 6 or 7 Walking Dead novels that have been written, but those are really good because the first couple deal with the rise of the governor and how he came to Woodbury and got the people of Woodbury to follow him.
Okay.
Those are the first 2 books. Like I said, there have been like 6 or 7. So the first book is dealing with the rise of the governor. The second one is the formation of Woodbury. The next 2 follow the arc of the comic of how the governor meets Rick and the prison attack, but it's all from the governor's point of view.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And how is go ahead.
I was going to say, and the next 3 books deal with the people of Woodbury after that prison attack. So it's kind of parallel to Rick and Michonne and Glenn and all of them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now,
they're really good. They're really good.
I'm going to have now. That's going to be on my list now. So, did it stick to the storyline in the comics pretty much this season, or did it vary quite a bit?
They were very faithful to the comics this past season, except for Oceanside and the Garbage Pail Kids. Those guys are not in the comic at all.
Oh,
really?
That's a new group that they came up with on their own, basically.
Yeah, it sounds like from the way they set everything up, is the Garbage Pail Kids seemed like they had been a part of the comics. Just to remind everybody, we do a recap. We do a recap of the show. What's that?
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I think at the risk of dropping spoilers, which I really try not to do, I have a feeling I know what's going to happen with the Garbage Pail Kids in the future.
Well, I think so. I think so too. I think we said it last week. Remember, Denise, or the week before?
Yeah.
That on the way to hit. I know the spoilers. You know which way we were talking. I remember talking about this a little bit. But so what I wanted to, the reason I got into that right away is the reason I want to go back to that end of that leadership role where they showed King Zeke, they showed Rick, and they showed Maggie on a stage together as the leaders.
Oh, I thought that was great.
in the comic book, did it go that route, or was it somebody else?
Oh, I got. Give me a minute to think. Yeah, it was pretty much. It pretty much plays out on the show as in the comic.
Nice.
Like I said, this past season, with a couple of exceptions, it was pretty faithful to the source material.
Okay.
But I thought that speech that Maggie had at the end of that episode, I thought it was great.
Wasn't that?
I had chills.
I know, it was so like the full circle thing. It was so great. It was. I was like in tears. Oh, Maggie, that's so wonderful. Yeah, that's
the
so
baby's
really.
the baby's gonna get here before we know it. It's just are they gonna play it, because they've talked about season 8 being a full out battle for most of the season. She has to be 4 or 5 months, so we're talking 4 months away, 4 or 5 months. The baby's probably has to be here, and Maggie's gonna be a key contributor to this war that they have planned.
Okay, I have one question. And I think this is one spoiler we can all live with.
Okay.
Does she have the baby next season?
Yes, she has to in season 8.
Oh boy, I can't.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I have a very strict no spoiler policy.
That's okay. That kind of answered it in of itself. So.
I'm just saying yes, because the time frame. That's the only reason I say yes.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's why I say that. I'm reminding everybody we recap the shows. We're not book experts, guys. So we recap the shows and we talk about the show that we love, The Walking Dead, of course. And so it's pretty cool that that Rick has some other information that we don't have. But anyway,
yes.
So
I have a lot of information here that you put it equal to the show. This show could go right through season 13, 14 even.
That's really interesting, because previous seasons
there's a lot more stuff coming up.
Previous seasons, they said there were things that weren't matching up as far as the comic book goes, the book goes. That's what I've heard. I don't know for sure, because like I said, I don't want to pick up me and Denise talked about it just a while ago. I don't want to pick up, I think I talked about it with you, Rick. I'm going to pick up the comic books, but I'm going to wait to the end of the finale, the finish of the whole show. And then go back and go over it all. That's what I want to do. That's the way I want to approach it. Yeah, I want to wait.
Interesting.
I think I'm going to get the novel, start reading the novels. I think I'm really interested in that part of it.
The novels sound like something I may get into now that you brought that up, because I didn't know about them, to be honest with you. As much as we do The Walking Dead and talk about The Walking Dead, this is the first time we've heard about that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So let's get back over into the other part of the show that was really interesting. The Garbage Pail Kids, or whatever, I don't like to disrespect them, but
the Avenger.
I think at one point I started calling them the land fillers or something like that.
They get there.
I picked that up. I picked that up from Megan, the garbage trash.
It is pretty funny as sitting here thinking about it.
I'm surprised she didn't plug them then.
Yeah,
So.
So they get to Alexandria, guys, and they group up with the Alexandrians for some reason. It was like matched up evenly. Like Michonne was with the girl who attacked her. Rick was with Jadis. Several other things. Carl and was with a whole bunch of them, and then also you had Rosita, and you had you had several of them basically, and they're all matched up. And then they pull the switcheroo. And we'll talk about the Jadis Rick thing right through here. They pulled it, Negan pulls up, and they pulled the switcheroo and they put the guns on at the Alexander Rick's new place and family. What was the deal? Rick, you kind of know more about the book, so I'm gonna ask you just on this one because this has to come from the book. What was the deal that was made between Jadis and Negan for them to pull the switcheroo at the last moment?
Well, because the Lancellers talk so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, the Jadis and her group are not in the comic.
Yes.
So
that's right.
The only feeling I got is Jadis said that she had made a better deal with Negan.
Yeah.
Whether or not that was for more guns, his protection.
Well, they were saying 10 and 12. That's where I got. That's where I was.
12. That's why. Yeah, 10 and 12. What?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. That's why I wanted to go to that part because guns. Are they talking about? Because he said people are commodities, basically. Are they talking about
think that
people?
Are they talking about trading people then?
That sounds interesting, Denise. It could be like Negan sends like 12 of his guys to, I don't know, train the Lancellers. What Jadis would send her people into Negan for, I have no idea. But I hadn't really thought about that. She says they want 12, Negan says 10, and then they go back and forth. What are they talking about?
See, that's where I was really, I thought. Now you just said that they weren't in the comics, so that really Scott Gimple or whoever the writer was, and that's for that scene, really has millions of people confused. Then is what I'm thinking on our end, because
well, they wrote in a couple of characters that weren't supposed to be there too. Carol was supposed to have died.
Carol never made it out of the prison.
Yeah.
No. Either did Judith, right?
No.
Yeah.
That was a moment that actually had me crying when I read it in the comic.
Oh boy, something to look forward to.
The governor and his soldiers from Woodbury are attacking the prison. Rick, Carl, Michonne, everybody's trying to escape. Rick and Carl make it. Rick turns around just in time to see Lori get blown in half by a shotgun. And she falls and smothers Judith.
Wow.
Wow.
I was just checking to make sure the sound is coming out.
And that happened, and I'm just sitting there. I'm in tears, and I have no problem admitting that.
So see, that's the point I was making about the earlier TV shows that they didn't. A lot of people said they didn't match up a lot of the book. And right there,
there were a couple of changes. Let me think. Number one, Shane never makes it to Herschel's farm in the comic.
Oh,
if you match things up, Shane never makes it through the end of season 1.
Oh, wow! So they kept him around a while.
Berserk. He goes berserk because Rick is supposed to be dead.
Yeah,
and he's trying to put the moves on Lori.
Right.
And then Rick comes back, and in Shane's mind, that Rick being back just sends everything that he wanted to hell.
Yeah.
So he gets Rick alone, and he starts screaming, you ruined everything. She would have come around eventually, and he's about to pull the trigger, and Carl shoots Shane,
which he does, but a lot later.
Yeah, but under different circumstances on the show.
Right. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so Shane never makes it to Herschel's farm. Carol never makes it out of prison.
Wow. I'm so glad they changed that, though. I love her character. I really
love Carol.
I know.
Carol.
Something I was reading was Carol was supposed to go and the one we talk about all the time, the blonde-headed lady we were just talking about her. She was the one that was with the governor.
Jadis.
Huh?
Oh,
No,
Andrea.
Andrea. Sorry about
Andrea.
that. Andrea, she was supposed to actually still be on the show.